Hi, my name is Dave Doell. I'm the owner of Core HVAC Services, and I'm a plumber by trade.
My name's Alex Richard. I'm a second-year plumber. I started with the SIEC program, and they got me on with Core HVAC Services, where I've worked for the last 3 years.
We're a mechanical service provider. We do service, maintenance, retrofit, repair for chillers, boilers, heating and ventilation equipment for commercial, industrial facilities. We work in hotels, high-rise office towers, malls, hospitals. We have plumbers, refrigeration mechanics, sheet metal workers, and electricians.
Every day is kind of different here. It's probably one of my favorite parts is you don't really do the same thing 2 days in a row or all week or whatever. So you get to try a bunch of different stuff, and kind of as an apprentice you lend a hand to whoever needs help with a job or whatever it is. So you kind of get to learn a whole bunch of different aspects of the trade, and no day is the same as the last. It's all different, and some days you're at the shop more so prepping for jobs or just getting stuff ready or cleaning up or whatever from a job, and some days you have to go to 5, 6, 7 different jobs in a day to do service calls or to do maintenances or whatever it is. So you're always kind of on the move and doing different stuff.
For our business, I find we have to have a full range of employees, from people who are beginning as apprentices and helpers all the way through to journeymen. Always have 3 or 4 apprentices at different stages through the apprenticeship program. You can't have all journeymen doing basic labor work, and you need to have some knowledge, some people who have had longer trade experience to pass down to those young guys. So it kind of seems to work best to have a bit of a mix of employees from beginning all the way through to experienced journeymen.
I never wanted to go to university. I wasn't much of a school person. I'd rather learn by doing or learning, seeing something happen. And I don't know, I just never kind of ruled out university as not something I wanted to do. And I started with the trades, and working hands-on, and you make good money. You can't really, I wouldn't do anything other than trades. I wouldn't go back and do anything different. In grade 12, I did the SIEC program, and that was at Edie. So then from there, you kind of got some trade hours, and after that, you had job interviews. You got to pick your 3 main trades that you'd like to be in. Then you got interviews from there, and plumbing was on my list, and I got hired at Core HVAC here, and I don't know, I worked my first year and a half or whatever it was, and then I went to school and came back, and after working here for a few months, I kind of figured that this is what I wanted to do. It was good and different and lots of different stuff. So
right now, trades are in high demand. It's probably a good place for some job security. It gives you lots of opportunity financially, and it's just something different. You can see different things every day, do different things every day. Probably an average wage could be between $55,000 and $70,000 for someone who's potentially 23 or 24 years old to be becoming a journeyman, and have access to a salary in that range is pretty appealing. I wish I would have done it.
I had multiple friends that after high school they went to university, and some of them, they didn't even know what they wanted to do, but they just thought that they kind of had to go to university. That was their next step, and they went, and lots of them are still in university and still aren't sure what they want to do with their degree, or if they have to go back for another degree, whereas I finished high school and started making money right away. And then you go to school, and you still get paid to go to school, and it's only 2 months at a time, so you don't lose anything from that. You just go and gain your knowledge and then come back right back to work. You don't have to worry about, for university students, where you have to go and find a summer job or whatever. You're done school on Friday, you come back to work on Monday, and you just keep going. To me, when you're in school, you're still working because you're working towards your work. That's why you're there. So getting paid to go to school is just makes sense to me, I guess, in that aspect.
The easiest way to start is with high school. Their industrial arts programs, welding programs, robotics, so even some of the computer programming electives that are available to them. The internship program short of that, contacting Polytech for the pre-employment, but that only happens after school. So at the high school level, the internship program is probably the best thing I can think of.
You form good relationships with guys that you work with. You kind of become buddies after you work together for a little bit. Then you leave home and you come to work and it's another family, I guess. Like, it's just all the guys that you're all doing the same work, and some days are a little harder than others, but you all work together on it. And I don't know, I think that anyone should think about giving the trades a try if you like working with your hands or making decisions like on your own and whatever it is. Like, you just have to kind of have an open mind, I guess, every day going into it.
For the kids that are interested and able to catch on, like, there's a lot of opportunities. You're so far ahead of the game. If you can start when you're 16 or 17 years old, I think kids that are a little younger maybe get taken care of a little bit better than people who start when they're more mature, or more is expected of them. So
the bosses decided that I was ready to have my own van. Then which later moved into a truck, but to have my own service vehicle, work vehicle that they trust me to do work on my own with. And I'm only a second year, but they trust me enough to let me do little jobs, and that was probably the biggest confidence booster, I guess, that you're trusted with the work that you do. So it felt good. And I mean, my brother's in the trade, so I had to step up on him that I like to rub in his face. But it was, it was just cool that, I don't know, you're like the guys that you work for, right? Like, your journeymen, they all have vehicles, and now you have one, and you're kind of, you're helping guys out, or you're out there working by yourself or whatever. You have younger guys helping you, so I don't know, it's a cool feeling, good feeling. I think especially through this program, you should definitely think about the trades or take a look and see what your options are before you go making a decision. So
coming into spring, we always get busy doing maintenance-y type things, filter changes, so we always need more bodies. It's a great way for me to find kids that have some experience, they come with some safety training, they want to be here, so it works out really good for me that way, trying to find help in the summertime. At the end of the summer, if they work out, basically I'd like to keep them on, because for me that just keeps replenishing my workforce, and we can grow the business.